Humans used to utilize simple machines to understand themselves and improve well-being. Later, engineers developed more complicated machines to expand humans' life expectancy, so that we can have more time to create more advanced machines. For example, now we have ECG to study the different parts in our body and how they work, without going into the body.
I mean that goes on for the rest of our lives in million or more words in English. Most of us only have a vocabulary of 50, 60, 70,000 words, whatever it is, until there is always something to learn. So remember that two ends of child language acquisition are wider apart than some people think. That means there is more scope for studying in it than most people think.
Until the early 1960s, newspapers published separate job listings for men and women, and the wage gap, whose closing has been at a rate of about half a penny a year since 1963, when the Equal Pay Act was signed, is a statistical indicator often used as an index of the status of women's earnings relative to men.
The brain doesn't see the world simply as though the scene was projected onto a cinema screen, because the image that we see with our eyes is broken down into separate color components and other components. Each of these component parts is sent to a separate area of the brain for processing, with the different components of the scene only merging again when they are unified into what you perceive as the image. The National Oceanography Center (NOC) is engaged in research into the potential risks and benefits of exploiting deep-sea mineral resources. An NOC also led an international study demonstrating deep-sea nodule mining will cause long-lasting damage to deep-sea life, so it aimed at informing that decisions need to be taken as people increasingly turn to the oceans to address some of society's greatest challenges.
Earl Miller is among the neuroscientists amassing evidence that waves are an essential part of how the brain operates. Brain oscillations deftly route information in a way that allows the brain to choose which signals in the world to pay attention to and which to ignore, his recent studies suggest. Soil, containing so many organisms, combines with minerals, water, air and organic matter to create a living system for all life, which reduces the risk of flooding, mitigates agricultural emissions, increases disease resistance in livestock and ultimately drives profits for farmers. But soil and its impact on the health of our animals has been one of the most neglected links in UK agriculture because they use fertilizers, which has a detrimental effect on the land. Despite great debate, solar energy, whose advantages merit further development and possible adaptation for residences, remains popular because it is a true renewable resource which is available for collection in all areas of the world each day, and it is non-polluting, creating no greenhouse gases or waste, reducing noise pollution and having very little impact on the surrounding environment, without reasonable maintenance and repair costs. Neither the experts nor the media were presenting how global development changes the world. Based on these two insights, Hans Rosling made it his mission to bridge this gap and present the evidence that global development is a reality. His approach to communicating research on global development was through public talks and the use of data visualization.
According to new research, if you can switch out your intake of refined sugar and use pure raw honey instead, the health benefits can be enormous, and unlike processed honey, raw honey is a pure, unfiltered, and unpasteurized sweetener made by bees and does not get robbed of its incredible nutritional value and health power, which can help with low energy, sleep problems, seasonal allergies, and even weight loss. Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, is a revolutionary scientist who has altered the way people think as well as the way they live, believing the internet can foster human understanding and even world peace, because an individual now have the same access to information as the elite. There is not much time to sit back and reflect because society will never be the same. Our department has led research into straw as a low-impact building material, and the MARC certification guarantees a straw building's energy efficiency, fire safety, durability and weather resilience, as the technology combines the lowest carbon footprint and the best operational CO2 performance, which enables the innovative straw walls to provide insulation and reduce fuel bills.
Atmospheric currents carry soot thousands of miles from where it is produced to the Himalayas and the Arctic. Black carbon, being black, absorbs sunlight, so even a little soot on snow makes it melt faster. And when snow melts, global sea levels rise, threatening our freshwater indigenous communities and polar bears who hunt on the Arctic ice. Climate change has been a big thing for a while, and carbon dioxide has been its main cause. Scientists estimate that soot causes 25% of human-caused global warming. It's the second leading cause of Arctic warming after carbon dioxide.
Just like corporations, stars, too, can engage in mergers and acquisitions. A new study has identified a pair of white dwarf stars heading toward a merger. White dwarfs are the hot, super-dense remnants of spent stars. In a binary system called J0651, two white dwarfs circle each other very rapidly. The binary pairing completes an orbit in less than 13 minutes. And that already rapid orbital dance is speeding up as the two white dwarfs spiral in on each other. Each year their orbital period shrinks by 0.3 milliseconds. That's actually a pretty dramatic change on astronomical timescales in about 1 million years.
On October 12, 1492, Columbus wrote in his journal that the native people of the Americas should be good servants. Moreover, from his very first contact with native people, Columbus had the domination in mind, and after his second voyage, Columbus sent back a consignment of natives to be sold as slaves. And lastly, in a letter to Luis de Santangel, Columbus made clear that the natives had done nothing to deserve ill treatment.